On May 7, 2025, India carried out one of the most coordinated military responses in its modern history, Operation Sindoor. But the shock wasn't just the speed or precision. It was this. India didn't rely on foreign help. From surveillance to strikes, India used its own defense ecosystem. This wasn't just a response, it was a declaration that India had arrived. There was a time not too long ago when every bullet, every radar, and every jet engine that guarded India's skies came with a foreign stamp. For over a decade, India wasn't just buying defense equipment, we were depending on it. According to the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, SIPRI, we accounted for 14% of all global arms imports, the highest in the world. Our military might rested heavily on Russia, France, and Israel, who together supplied over 70% of our arsenal. Between 2000 and 2014, India poured more than $100 billion into defense purchases, but despite the spending, there was a glaring void. Not a single indigenous fighter jet flew our skies. We had soldiers ready, but no self-reliance. We had threats mounting, but delays in deals like Rafale kept us vulnerable. In this video, you'll discover how India's rise in defense self-reliance, highlighted by Operation Sindoor, is not just a geopolitical shift, but a powerful investment opportunity, backed by deep research from defense reports, company filings, and global think tanks like SIPRI. If you're someone who values insight over noise, real analysis over hype, and want to stay ahead in both national affairs and financial trends, hit that subscribe button, because this channel is built to empower your mind, money, and mission. You can't be a global power if you depend on others to defend your borders. 2014 marked more than just an election year. It marked a mindset shift. That year, the Indian government launched the ambitious Make in India campaign, a vision not just to manufacture goods, but to rewrite India's role in global defense. One bold goal stood out: cut defense import dependency to just 30% by 2025. At the time, it seemed like a distant dream. But history had other plans. Fast forward to 2020, and two defining moments acted as wake-up calls. First, the Galwan Valley clashes with China, a cold, brutal reminder that territorial threats weren't relics of the past. Then came COVID-19, which brought the global supply chain to its knees, exposing just how dangerously dependent we were on foreign technology, parts, and platforms. India didn't just react, it responded with resolve. A massive rupees 1.97 lakh crore PLI scheme was rolled out to fuel domestic manufacturing. The DRDO opened its vault, releasing over 1,000 patents to Indian industries. Tech that once sat behind high-security walls was now in the hands of our entrepreneurs. The Defense Acquisition Procedure 2020 changed the rules of the game. Now, if it could be made in India, it had to be made in India. Foreign direct investment in defense was raised to 74% via the automatic route, encouraging global players to build in India, not just sell to it. Two defense industrial corridors, one in Uttar Pradesh and the other in Tamil Nadu, were launched to create integrated hubs for defense manufacturing. And to make our state-run defense giants leaner and sharper, 7 defense PSUs were corporatized, injecting private sector-style efficiency and accountability. This wasn't policy reform. This was ecosystem transformation. India wasn't just buying time, it was building capability, brick by brick, drone by drone, system by system. Operation Sindoor wasn't just a military strike. It was a mirror reflecting how far India has come. The operation unfolded. The world saw something new. Not just in how India responded, but with what. Gone were the days of imported dependence. What led the charge were systems born out of Indian soil and Indian minds. At the heart of our skies was the Akashtiya system, an indigenous air defense control system that connected radars, missiles, and fighters in real time. A capability once reserved for only the most advanced militaries. Soaring through that sky were Tejas Mk-1A jets, manufactured by Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, HAL, a symbol of India's persistence in mastering fighter jet design after decades of setbacks. On the ground, Pinaka rocket systems rained precision firepower. In the air, swarm drones buzzed like a digital cavalry. And behind it all, C4 ISR systems, command, control, communications, computers, intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance, also developed in India, stitched together intelligence, communication, command, and control into one seamless battlefield network. And this didn't happen overnight. Since 2016, DRDO has slashed its project cycle time by over 40%, meaning what once took years to develop now takes months. Agility has finally replaced bureaucracy. But India hasn't walked this path alone. Two crucial systems, The S-400 air defense system and the BrahMos supersonic cruise missile, co-developed with Russia, played pivotal roles in Operation Sindoor. Together, they formed the backbone of India's layered air defense and precision strike capability. These are not just weapons, they are strategic assets that signal India's growing role in global defense partnerships. But perhaps the most telling sign of India's transformation isn't just what it uses, it's what it sells. In 2014, India's defense exports stood at a humble $213 million. But by 2023 to 24, they had exploded to $2.6 billion. From Armenia to the Philippines, from Mauritius to Africa, nations across the world are turning to Indian defense firms for systems that work, deliver, and deter. Because now, India isn't just building weapons, it's exporting deterrence. Operation Sindoor wasn't just a military response. It was a defining moment in India's defense history. On April 22, 2025, the nation was shaken by the brutal loss of 26 innocent lives in Pahalgam. But this time, grief turned into grit. Just 15 days later, on May 7th, India launched a swift and precise retaliation, obliterating 9 terrorist camps across the border. What made this operation historic wasn't just the outcome, it was the arsenal of self-reliance. Homegrown surveillance and strike drones led the charge, guided by real-time intelligence networks and Indian-developed electronic warfare systems. The operation showcased a battlefield powered by Indian innovation. Standing guard in the skies were India's strategic giants, the S-400 air defense systems and BrahMos missiles, co-developed with Russia, forming the backbone of India's layered defense strategy. Operation Sindoor was the country's first truly indigenous military retaliation, a seamless fusion of domestic capabilities and strategic partnerships. It signaled to the world that India no longer waits for imported solutions. It designs, builds, and defends on its own terms. In a single, coordinated strike, India didn't just eliminate threats, it announced the arrival of a new era, an India that's self-reliant, decisive, and future-ready. Let's look at the global self-reliance scoreboard. The United States leads the pack with a staggering annual R&D spend of over $100 billion. Its defense exports hit a massive $55 billion, and its self-reliance index is around 95%, thanks to cutting-edge, full-spectrum capabilities like the F-35 fighter jets and nuclear deterrence. The US sets the gold standard for indigenous defense power. China follows with an R&D budget of about $45 billion per year and defense exports of $23 billion. Its self-reliance is above 90%, built mostly on reverse-engineered technologies and rapid industrial scaling. Russia invests roughly $18 billion annually in R&D, with defense exports around $16 billion. Its self-reliance is approximately 80%, though it struggles with aging legacy systems and the impact of international sanctions. Now, India is investing about $12 billion in defense R&D each year, less than the others but growing fast. Defense exports have jumped to $2.6 billion, and the self-reliance index sits near 64%. This number is significant because it reflects a rapidly expanding indigenous capability, validated by the success of Operation Sindoor. The message is clear. India isn't just trying to catch up. It's closing the gap fast, carving out its own place on the world defense map. India's defense industry isn't just securing borders. It's opening up explosive investment opportunities. India's defense revolution isn't just about missiles and military might. It's about unleashing a wave of explosive economic potential. As the nation rebuilt its military muscle from the ground up, public sector giants emerged as pillars of this transformation. HAL, the force behind Tejas jets and LUH helicopters, clocked a massive rupees 29,810 crore in FY24 revenue, with an order book exceeding rupees 94,000 crore. BEML, powering India's radars and C-4 ISR systems, surged ahead with rupees 20,200 crore in revenue, and exports crossing rupees 4,000 crore. Add to this the firepower of BDL, BML, GRSE, MDL, and MIDHANI, crafting everything from missiles to warships, and you have the blueprint of a defense manufacturing superpower. But the private sector has been no less fierce. L&T Defense is building submarines and missile launchers. Tata Advanced Systems is shaping India's UAV and aerospace future. Bharat Forge is rolling out howitzers and armored vehicles, while niche players like Paras Defense, Ideaforge, and Zen Technologies are redefining space optics, drones, AI simulators, and more. Solar Industries, the quiet giant, is producing high-energy explosives and drone warheads that now sit at the heart of India's strike capabilities. No wonder the BSE Defense Index has soared 150%, outpacing the Nifty over the last 3 years, from a rupees 1.5 lakh crore sector in 2020 to rupees 4.2 lakh crore in 2024. This is not just a defense boom, it's an investment battleground of opportunity. As India secures its borders, it's also unlocking one of the most powerful growth stories of this decade. Operation Sindoor wasn't just a military retaliation, it was a historic declaration. India can strike, defend and dominate using its own ingenuity, its own factories, its own resolve. The skies thundered with Tejas jets made by HAL, targets were neutralized with BrahMos missiles and precision-guided bombs from solar industries, and the eyes in the sky, drones by IdeaForge, painted a clear picture of what self-reliance looks like in real time. But make no mistake, this is just the beginning of India's ascent. The systems have matured, the ecosystem is awakening, and the world is watching. As the fog of dependency clears, what emerges is a nation that no longer just buys deterrence, it builds and exports it. And yet from a Zen lens, the power isn't just in the weapons India wields, but in the calm confidence of knowing it doesn't need to use them to be respected. The question now is not whether India can rise. It's whether the world is ready for India as a global defense superpower. As India transforms from the world's top arms importer to a self-reliant defense powerhouse, a once-in-a-generation opportunity is unfolding for aspiring investors. You're not just witnessing history, you have the chance to invest in it. From HAL and BL to IdeaForge, Solar Industries and Zen Technologies, Indian defense companies are no longer just contractors, they're becoming global disruptors. The war rooms have moved to boardrooms. The battlefield is becoming the balance sheet. And if you act with insight and patience, your portfolio could ride the same trajectory as India's defense ambitions, skyward. Like this video if you're proud of India's defense transformation. Comment below with your thoughts on which Indian defense company you believe holds the most promise. Share this video with fellow patriots and aspiring investors, because India's rise as a defense powerhouse is a story worth spreading.